Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. I think we need a new Green Deal. I think we need this Green Deal for our environment. I mean, this is obvious. I think we need this Green Deal for our people. But even more, I think we need this Green Deal for our economics. And I think this deal will boost our economics. It will improve people's life. It will improve people's health. It will carry for our nature, and even more, this new deal will not leave anyone behind. These are, now in my words, but the ideas of the new European Commission when they started their new period now. But what was it all about then? The question is, how can we transform our energy system, not by replacing our energy system? The question is, where do we want to go? Is it by finding or searching for the silver bullet, which doesn't exist? But honestly, I think now we are right now in the thing that we search for the silver bullet. Whenever you go to a political debate, you just find one guy talking about hydrogen, the other one about solar energy and electric cars, and the other one about not driving cars. This is not the future for fuel market. This is not the global opportunity. This is just trying to get over the time till we have 2050 and hope the solution will be there then. But we lost our economy on the way, we lost our environment on the way, and we will lose our people on the way. So we will not search for the silver bullet, we will search how to work together on this way till 2030, till 2050, where we want to be decarbonized fully. But how can this work out? I'm not here now to show you the silver bullet, as I said. I'm here to give you one example of how can we move on in transforming the energy system in transport sector. Let me give you one fact about India. There is one fact that India wants to ban all combustion engines till 2030. It's the same Europe wants to do, it's the same everyone wants to do. Believe me or not, this will not happen. But it's a fine policy. It helps you over the time. Now we have 2020, Paris is long ago, and it will not take long till no one knows where is Paris. I know it, it's in Europe, somewhere in the middle. It's a few million people living there, and everything in Europe is much smaller than in India. So what will happen on the way till 2030 when then we have banned the cars on our street? On what are we running? On electrified cars? Maybe. But we are running a plant in Mumbai, and every Thursday I have a problem with my electricity. So where will be the solution then? If I have no solution now for electrifying my industry, how can I electrify all my, what is it? Let's say 100 million cars? And why do I want to go to electrified cars? Because we want to reduce CO2 emissions in transport sector, right? There are 15 ships in the world causing more CO2 emissions than 750 million cars. 15 ships. Why? Because they're running on the cheapest thing they can get. If it's too liquid to make a street out of it, pump it into a ship. And then you need to fire the petrol tanks that the liquid, that the fuel is getting liquid enough to be running an engine, to run an engine. So this is what happens if we want to decarbonize the transport sector. Ban 15 ships. Don't ban 750 million cars, because these are the 750 million cars our people need to go to work, to make a green job, hopefully, then in their business. And let me give you another example. There are 7 million tons of waste going out of every kitchen in the year in India in terms of used cooking oil. 7 million tons. This means 7% of the Indian diesel market. If you would take this 7 million tons of used cooking oil out from the kitchen and put it into hopefully our plant in Navi Mumbai, where we make biodiesel out of it. And what can we do with this 7 million tons? We can at least decarbonize the transport sector in India for the next 10%. This is a part of the solution. And then we can move on to take second G ethanol to decarbonize the other part. Then we can use biogas to decarbonize our CNG cars. And then we can start to move on the way till 2030, where we don't need to ban all these million cars, because they are even more efficient than they are today, number one. They are running on more biofuels they are running today, number two. And the feedstock of biofuel will be more sustainable than it is today. And what's the next advantage of all this business? It's not only boosting now my economy, because I am not dependent anymore on fossil imports. It also boosts my quality level in the environment. Why? Because these 7 million tons of used cooking oil, which are today going down the drainage system and at the end of the day into the Ganges, are not going into the Ganges anymore. A river where every 13th people in the world is dependent on. It's 10 people in this room who are directly dependent on the Ganges, if this would be the world. And coming from Europe, my home city is 2 million people. To realize that every 13th people in the person in the world is living next to this river is really impressive. So I wonder why we pump 7 million tons of used cooking oil every year in this river. We should use this waste to run our engines. We should use this waste to run our economies. And if we start to use this waste to run our economies, the effect for nature is immediately and double. Because it's not in the Ganges, it's not blocking my drainage system, it's not floating in rain season my cities, it's not going back into the food chain like today, causing liver cancer, stomach cancer and heart attacks, where India got the highest rates in the world. And then it affects also my people's life quality, and this is the place where we have our new Green Deal in 2030, by not banning cars, by not banning any technology, by not making the game who will win the fight against each other of renewable technologies. And whenever you go to a conference, there is the guys from solar industry saying, no, not the guy from wind, I should get the money. And the guy from wind industry will say, no, no, not solar energy, because we have more wind in India than sun. At the end of the day, we will need both of them. We will need both of them. We will need all of us here on the podium today. We will need second generation ethanol. We will need biogas. We will need biofuels. We will need coal. That's at the end of the day maybe a problem, but we will need it on the way of transformation. Because if we leave now one thing out, we destroy a good working industry. And if we destroy this industry, we destroy people's life, because they are losing their jobs till we cannot replace them into another business. And this is exactly the way I think we need this new Green Deal. We need it not for replacing, but for combining all our strengths. We need to work together, not only here in India, like my company is doing, but we need also to work together out from Europe. This is exactly the reason why we are here. We are running a biofuel plant on waste as feedstock in Europe, and we do it for the last 15 years something, and we do it very well. This is why Minister Bharat from Oil and Gas Ministry visited our plant and said, come on, these guys are doing a great job. Why? Because they don't replace. They are big partners of fossil industry and help them on their way of transformation. And this is why he invited us, because he is, I think, the man with the vision in this country on the terms of technology, energy, and how to move these things forward. He is not the one who says replace fossil with bio. He says combine fossil with bio and help them both walking the way along till we come to 2013 or 15, where we then need the discussion on when we look back, saying what did we achieve by working together and what could we afford of making mistakes by just leaving one technology behind. And I think this should be my last sentence. I'm here not for replacing, I'm here to join hands all the economies, all the technologies, and all the solutions on the renewable sector compared and combined with also the fossil industry on how to move forward your industry, my industry, and at the end of the day, the economy of this great country. Thank you.